All right, man. Broncos country, what is going on? We are live, and I have the honor and a very special guest of having Strez here from Broncos Hub. Is that correct, Strez? That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
YouTube channel, and it's
nailed it.
Strez on TikTok. He's like a TikTok. He's pretty popular on TikTok. But ironically, I've watched a ton of his videos. I've been a fan of his over the last few months as I've started my YouTube journey, and I just met the guy officially for the first time about 3 minutes ago. So we
Yeah,
are we are doing this live. But Strez, go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and what you got going on.
yeah. So I am not a born and raised native to Denver. I was actually born and raised in a small town in Arkansas. So when you come from a state like Arkansas with no professional sports teams, you can kind of pick and choose whoever you want to root for. But I do have a ton of family that are from the Loveland area, and so when I was growing up as a kid, I would just get like Broncos merch just sent to me constantly. Wheaties
Awesome,
boxes, Ed McCaffrey posters, Terrell Davis jerseys, like all the good stuff from the
love
'90s.
it.
And so that it just kind of stuck, and I've been a Broncos fan, ever since. And now I moved up to college to play football and study religion at a school in Kansas City, and it's kind of where I've stayed because I met my wife and I married into a Chiefs family. So 2 weeks out of the
Oh
year, I
man,
I try not to talk to most of them. Just 2 weeks out of the year, might be three this year, but we'll get into that later in the
yeah,
conversation.
yeah. Hopefully.
But yeah, it's an interesting just being surrounded by Chiefs Kingdom or whatever it is they call it here is it's an uphill battle,
Oh, I
honestly.
bet. I bet you're yeah, you probably handle it a lot better than I could, man, because I would not handle it well. I get irritated at some of those Chiefs fans that come at me on Twitter.
Yeah,
They just
right.
they just came out of nowhere. I'm like, "Where the hell were you guys like 4 years ago? I'd never heard of you guys in my life, and now all of a
Yeah,
sudden
name the
you're everywhere."
quarterback before Patrick Mahomes.
They're like, "I don't know. Who
That's always
cares?"
my question. But honestly,
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I like more eyes. More eyes on the game is why the cap was higher this year, and why the Russell
Yeah.
Wilson debacle is not as bad as it could have been. So it's always a good thing. But unfortunately, more of the eyes are going towards the enemy, and we just kind
Yeah.
of have to roll with it.
I know. We're just gonna have to deal with it, man, and we dealt with it a lot with Brady and the Patriots. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's not gonna necessarily go that long. Keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, man, just go ahead. I mean, give me your take on the Monday Night Football game. I know it was a crazy game. I know there was so much to
yeah,
talk about. I
dude.
feel like no matter how much you talk about it, you can't get it all out. But yeah, what were your thoughts overall on that?
That game was nuts. Was it 73 points were scored? There
Yeah.
was back-to-back plays of 93 yards and then 70 yards. There were two pick sixes. One went for 71 yards. Three of the five longest touchdowns this week
Mhm.
happened on Monday night in the Broncos Browns game. Like, that's insane. Bo
Yeah.
Nix looked awesome. That feels like kind of an important throw, that deep ball to Marvin Mims. Not the one that was an arm punt, but the one that was actually caught to go to the end zone. Um, Nick
Yeah.
Bonito is
I
taking
know.
over some
Yeah.
conversations.
Hmm.
And dude, it was a crazy game. Jerry Judy, like, I'm gonna clap it up for him. I'm one of
Yeah.
the guys that's like, I want Jerry to do well wherever he goes.
Oh, no
And it
doubt.
was it was cool to see him do what he was doing there. It was a bonkers game. It was the Jameis Winston experience, and it was somehow the Broncos defense looked the best and the worst all at the same time. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, I felt like I was watching like a college game almost, man. It was nice to be a
Yeah.
part of an exciting game. At least the last. I mean, prime time has been like something I've been terrified of and scarred of as a Bronco fan for the last few years.
Dude,
So
for sure.
it was nice to not only have an entertaining game for non Broncos and Browns fans, but to also come out on the winning end of that was big time. So no,
Yeah.
I loved it, and I think I think this team's growing. Right in front of our eyes, man. So I I I just yeah, it was one of those games where it was crazy. I had joked before the the game on my channel, even on back and forth with Twitter. I was like, I think the best quarterback in the NFL is Jameis Winston, and the worst quarterback in the NFL is also Jameis Winston, and that's
Yeah. I mean,
exactly
the
what you
thirty
see,
thirty
right?
season was that
Yeah,
to a T.
yeah,
Like, it's just like he threw for 5,000 yards that year.
yeah.
Imagine what he would have done if he just cut his interceptions in half. Imagine how many yards he could have thrown for and how many
Oh, it was
touchdowns he could have thrown
ridiculous.
for.
I had him in fan. He actually won the fantasy championship that year because I was basically going back and forth between him and Phillip Rivers, and he was great in fantasy. He'd throw picks, but I was
Yeah,
like, I don't care, just keep going.
honestly,
So
yeah, no, it was just an insane game. And you're right too about the primetime thing. Like there was a 3, 4, 5 year stretch, it feels like, where I was like, oh my God, I don't want the country to have to watch my football team.
yeah,
Like
like
it's so
please,
embarrassing. Like
yeah.
that Colts game 2 years ago on Thursday night. That
Oh my
was
God, I was in Chicago
torture.
watching that game. It was
It's like
awful.
the meme from that one Netflix movie, Bird Box, I think, where the guy's like holding the woman's eyes open. He's like forcing her to look at it. Like that's how that game felt. And
Yeah,
now it's like, why don't the Broncos have more primetime games? Like the
yeah.
whole country needs to see
What's going
what
on?
Sean Payton is doing with this football team and with this roster that's handicapped by $76 million. Like the whole country needs to see
Right.
this kind of stuff. So
I know.
it's crazy.
Yeah, we were the butt of all jokes. We were the meme machines for a long time, but I'm so happy that's in the past, man. I really am, and it's crazy because when you look at the season, right? I mean, you talk about we've won and lost so many different types of games. I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't had like a normal game. Um, well, maybe like the Atlanta game. I mean, we beat them pretty big, but it was a fairly normal game. But like, how would you sum up the season as a whole so far?
Yeah, no, I actually, I was talking about it on TikTok. I posted a video reacting to the fact that we were in the NFL's top 10 in their power rankings this week, which is incredible. I mean, we were going into the season 5.5 win total. Like so many people were picking us to be the worst team in the or in the NFL. And so just to be in that top 10, to be at number 10 was crazy. And I actually had someone commented on it. I think he's a I don't know. I don't know what his fan base is. Maybe the Raiders or maybe the Cowboys or something. I don't know who it was, but he was like, "You guys haven't beat a team with a winning record," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry that we're beating the people on our schedule."
Yeah,
Like, also,
right.
are you going to talk about the scores of those games that we're winning? Because every
Exactly.
game that we've won that wasn't in a hurricane, we've won by 2 or more scores.
Yeah,
The
and
Chiefs
the
squeaked by the
Jets at that
Panthers.
time, right?
The
Yeah,
Jets were legit at that time, right? Like
yeah.
they kind of still had something to push for.
Mhm.
And we held Brees Hall to like 40 yards, not even
Yeah,
40 yards. And it was just crazy. And like we're out here just steamrolling teams that we should beat, right? Like we're 6-0 against the spread when we're favored by like a lot. And
yeah,
we steamrolled the Panthers, Chiefs squeaked by them. We steamrolled the Raiders twice. Chiefs just squeaked by them on the most lucky call ever. And so it's
yeah.
just like it's an interesting conversation that people are trying to have to downgrade the Broncos wins this season. And I'm like, we have literally won every game by 2 or more scores except for one. And the games that we've lost have all been by one score except for the Ravens game. But that Ravens game, like Lamar was a perfect passer rating and Derrick Henry went for over 100.
Yeah,
No one's beating the Ravens when
yeah,
those two things are happening at the same time. And so it was just frustrating. And the same thing with Nick Wright on his show the other day, where he was like, "Let's take away the big throw from Bo Nix. Here's what his numbers would have looked like if that throw didn't happen." And I'm like, "That throw happened. Like you can't take it away. Like what are we doing here? Why are we doing everything in our power to make Bo Nix and to make this Denver Broncos team look like they're not looking?" Because and it really sums. I think it comes down to people are terrified. That's my genuine thought is that I think people are terrified that the Broncos look this good with $76 million in dead cap, with a rookie quarterback, with Sean Payton, who everyone is preying on the downfall of after everything that happened with him in New Orleans and him taking a year off, and the way that him and Russell Wilson interacted on the sideline last year, and how everything went down. It's just people don't want to see it, and the Broncos are back, and I think it's scaring people in my opinion. Like that, I genuinely think that's what it is.
yeah. I mean, it definitely could be. I think a lot of it too is there's a lot. I mean, the Nick Wrights and a lot of these other, people, whether famous or not, they were like so down bad on the Broncos, and they were so confident the
Yeah,
Broncos were going to suck, and like Bo Nix is nothing. And so now that's almost like instead of just like eating the crow or like taking the L or being like, "Hey, man, I was wrong about this," it's always more entertaining to just try to stir the pot and stir the narrative more. Or there's even Bronco fans that are like that too. They're like,
yeah,
who is Bo beaten? We have to try to defend the Broncos team to a Bronco fans, and And
Yeah.
then, team like guys like the guy on your TikTok, they tend to forget that, Atlanta had a winning record and still does,
Yeah.
and the
Tampa Bay
Buccaneers
had a
had a
winning
winning
record when
record.
we yeah. And
Yeah,
we
so
just
it's like,
we took both of them out to the shed. Like
yeah,
that
so
those two games, like the every game against the NFC South, that was just absolute dominance over a division. Like that's just crazy to me.
yeah,
But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, people are like they don't want to be wrong so much so that they're going to do everything they can to like make sure that they're right. Yeah, it's just crazy.
yeah. No, it definitely drives me nuts, man. But I mean, hey, it's a great thing for Broncos fans, for Broncos fans. I think we deserve it for
I
sure. It's
agree.
been a
I agree.
it's been a it's been a wild ride, and
A
we've gone
wild
through like
ride.
at one point I was genuinely convinced that we were cursed, like in every way.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Elway, whatever he did to get Peyton Manning to come to town in 2013
yeah,
and to win Super Bowl 50, I was like, we're never going to overcome
yeah.
what he did, the contract that he signed with the devil. Like we're never going to
It
be
was like
able
a
to
10-year
overcome.
agreement or something.
Yeah,
It seemed
like
like,
it was never going to happen. And so naturally, it has to happen by a rookie quarterback coming in and breaking all of the records that John Elway had held or
yeah,
whatever. Like
yeah. How
that
else?
makes the most sense, right?
Yeah, how
That's
else
for
would
the
you want it?
story. Yeah, the
How
narrative
else
that
would you
works that
want
way.
that? No doubt. That's actually really ironic. But I mean, what would you credit the most, you think, to the turnaround? Like the front office, the coaching staff, players. What do you think has the most impact on
Yeah.
turning this thing around?
Dude, honestly, I think there's it's touched by I think everyone, right? Like we've got ownership figured out. We've got ownership that's willing to fork out $250,000 for new grass for 4 games at the end of a season.
Yeah,
Twice. They've done it twice. And when you have the richest owners in the NFL by like
a
quadruple
long shot. Yep.
and they care enough about their team, like they're not trying to make money off the Broncos. Like Rob Walton is a 70 billionaire. He's losing money by literally just like taking time out to answer a phone call. Like that's how
Yeah,
rich he is.
yeah.
And they want to have something that's successful out there. And so they're doing it, right? And the ownership team that they got together with, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Condoleezza, right? Like everyone that is involved in that ownership group, it has all bought in. And you see Greg Penner all the time around the facilities. You see him at practices. You see him at training camp shaking hands with Bo Nix, with the rookie quarterback. I'm pretty sure he was in the draft room the night of the draft. And so it's just from him. And then we're seeing George Payton's free agency and his last few draft classes are really starting to show up.
Big time.
Like John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen, unbelievable, right?
Hmm.
Mike McGlinchey, unbelievable. Ben Powers, unbelievable. Like those free agent signings have been incredible.
Yeah,
We're not going to talk about Levi Wallace. We'll leave that one alone. We won the game. We don't have to talk about that.
yeah,
But then
exactly.
just like the draft classes that he put together, even pre Peyton, right? Like the guys like Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, like those guys that are out here being really successful. And then obviously you have to talk about head coach, right? And
Of
so
course.
what Sean Payton has been able to come out and do with this team, and I truly think that he got the most out of Russell Wilson that was possible. It looks like he still had a little bit left in the tank because whatever is going on in Pittsburgh just doesn't make any sense to me. But you
Seems like
never
he
know.
learned something. He
The
learned
wheels
something
might
from here.
fall. He did. Yeah, maybe he took something with him. The wheels might fall off still. We don't know. Um, but Sean Payton is just, I mean, if you're having a conversation about the best coaches in the NFL right now and all time, I think Sean Payton has to be in that conversation.
Yeah,
And then we got it fixed with the quarterback, right? Once you get your quarterback, everything kind of sorts itself out. So I think there's a little bit of everything that is kind of the reason why the Broncos have been able to find some success this year, from ownership to GM to head coach to quarterback and everything around him, right? Like I know Nick Bonito, he was on the post game on Monday night talking to Rich Eisen, and he was saying that like when Bo came in, like it wasn't like a regular rookie. He's an older guy. He's older than most guys. He had all those college starts. He's married. He's got a wife. He's got a family.
mhm,
He was just ready to play some ball,
yeah,
and I think he came in and the direction that he's gone, the whole team has followed. And it's hard to pin it on one thing. but I just like it's so many different things that has all kind of perfectly aligned in a team that is short on talent because we can't afford it. It's just been incredible from top to bottom.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think, I think the ownership, I mean, it definitely starts with the ownership group. I remember
Yeah.
I talked to my wife about it, a lot of my friends about, we don't have it like until we get an owner in place, we're not going to be able to get out of anything. And a lot of times people don't really understand the importance of that, the importance of having an ownership group that, and not just an ownership group like, and a very wealthy one, but one that really cares and invested in the team and gives everybody in charge the resources that they need. It's so imperative, man, to be able to
It's the
have
opposite of the Cowboys. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
literally is. Yeah. In every way, because, now you're hiring a coach and you're saying, hey, whatever you need, you got it. Just focus on that. We'll handle all. And it was that's how Pat Bowlen was, right? And, the building a new practice facility and being able to bring in like the best, uh, weight. Why am I drawing a blank on like the healthcare management weight room people,
Yeah.
like the
Strength
trainers
conditioning
and
team.
stuff, like the
Yeah.
the whole strength and conditioning team. They also has like a wellness program that's been
Yeah.
unbelievable, and I don't think talked about enough. To just like you said, like the new turf fields every game and stuff like that. It's one of those things. It's like, man, these guys are working 80, 90 hour weeks preparing during the season, during the week
Yeah.
for 3 hours of performance. We always think, oh, you're performing for 3 hours, but that other, 100+ hours that they're putting into it is so imperative. And if the culture is right, if they're being treated right, if they, if things around them are just going good, uh, it's crazy to see how it brings guys together more. And yeah, just like you said, I think Sean Payton too, from a standpoint of not just coaching, what I really gained so much respect for with him is that he just seems to know how to get the right group of guys together that like each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, and everybody just clicks. Like it seems like he knows how to read the room, and it got rid of some of the bad apples that, for the locker room. Maybe there's some guys that don't fit, and this team's rolling, man. They're playing awesome, and I just love the camaraderie that I'm seeing too. So
Yeah. No,
it's
that's
go ahead.
probably one of my favorite things, right? Like I've seen several pictures of Cortland Sutton. Just I've never seen him smile bigger other than when he was around DT, right?
Mhm.
And or Emmanuel Sanders. Like I've never seen a smile bigger than him now playing with Bo and playing with this offense, right? Like Garrett Bowles walking down the after the game yelling like 30 yards to say I love you, Bo. Like
Yeah,
that's that's crazy to me. That's something that I we haven't seen for like a decade. It feels like,
yeah,
and I really think that that's it. I think what I was getting at was everything that is all together is just this culture that is being built. It
no
and
doubt.
it's the way that we've always known the Broncos were, right? Like this is Broncos football, right? Like
Mhm.
a good culture, good ownership, a good coach, and a good quarterback. That's what it's always been.
Yeah,
When it was Elway, when it was Manning, when it was, that one playoff game from Tebow, like it was still kind of there.
yeah, yeah,
It's just
for
like
sure.
that's Broncos football. It's a culture, and it's been missing for years, and now we're good. And
Yeah,
and, and this is the worst that they're gonna be for at least the next 4 years, 5 years, depending on
I
what
would
they do with
agree.
Bo Nix's contract, right? Like
Yeah, I think we're at the floor.
$76 million in dead cap with a rookie quarterback. There's no
Crazy.
reason that they should be 8-5. Like that
No,
doesn't make any sense. And
yeah,
the fact that we're going to have close to 100 million in cap space next year and moving into a second year with your quarterback in this system who has already, it seems like, has completely figured it out. Like that's why Sean's giving him more responsibilities. It's just like this is the worst that this version of the Broncos team is going to look, and that's crazy to me.
yeah,
Like we're staring down the barrel of a 10-win season, and this is the worst that they're going to look. Like, dude, if you would have told me that 9 months ago, I would have been like, "You're crazy."
yeah.
But here we
No,
are.
100%.
Like,
No,
it's
100%.
insane.
And it's cool. I mean, just like I talked about with the culture and being able to relate, like how that used to be, right? I mean, it's like I was trying to explain this to my little nephew. He's 12,
Oh,
and
well,
he just doesn't really like. He's a Bronco
yeah,
fan, obviously, because I'm a big Bronco fan. His dad's a huge Bronco fan too, so he loves the Broncos. But like, it's hard for him to kind of imagine what the actual Broncos football is, like 90s, early 2000s growing up,
Yeah.
and so I'm really happy he's gonna, start to feel a little bit of a semblance of that
Yeah.
moving forward, man. So I think
No, for
that's
sure. It feels
super.
like it feels like people who remember watching Eddie Royal and Trendon Holiday and guys like that, we deserve this. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like,
mhm,
and it's good for these young kids. He's 12. So what was he? 3 when we won the Super Bowl?
mhm.
4? He doesn't
Yep.
remember that.
No.
All he is known
No.
is failure.
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
different quarterbacks. Like,
Yeah. Right when he started to like understand and probably remember football is exactly when we start to suck.
yeah, and that's the worst.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
is
so,
worse.
like, now that he's finally getting able to see it, and now, and we're seeing these Broncos fans in the stands on TV that are just like, you can see it in their face. Like,
Mhm.
it's like bringing back the feeling of what it is to be a Broncos fan. And I like, it's crazy. It's crazy, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have words for it. It's just,
Me
it's an
neither. I
incredible
know.
feeling.
It really is. It really is. And Broncos fan here, 18. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Broncos fan says, "What's your prediction for our record this season?"
That's a good question. Actually, I was actually looking at this on Monday night after the Monday night game. I went back through my notes and because I wanted to look at my predictions for this season, and I actually had at the bye week, I had the Broncos at 7-6 in my preseason predictions.
There you
And like
go.
like I'll show it to you right here. Like, I'm not lying to you. This
No,
was
I
my
believe you.
preseason predictions. Like, it's
I
right
love
there,
that.
and I mean it's on the internet. Like, people can go and look at it and stuff too.
Yeah.
And just like looking through it, I kind of had the season down with a change here and there. And I had the Broncos. I had them predicted to go 9-8 on the year, but I don't think that they're only going to win one more game. I
Yeah.
I,
I had
I
him at
think
9-8
that
as well.
yeah, I think 10 wins is 100% in play, and maybe even 11. Shoot, I mean, J.K. Dobbins is hurt, right? The Gus bus is slowing down. Quentin Johnston can't catch a pass right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat the Chargers on Thursday night. I'm
You got to
fully
think
confident
so.
in that game.
You got to think so, right?
I don't think that we're going to lose to the Colts. Their offense, Anthony Richardson is not going to know what to do against our defense.
Yeah.
I don't see an issue there. I do think that game at home on Week 18 against the Chiefs, like, we're for sure, if we win that game, and we win a couple games before it, we win that game, we're in for sure, right? Like, so our players are gonna be like, we have to win this game to get to the playoffs, right? And the Chiefs are already in. They probably have the division locked up this weekend. They might not have as much to care about in that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Bengals game, dude, their defense is horrible.
Horrible.
Like,
And,
it
and,
is
and they
so
might be
bad.
they might just be in pack
They
it up
might,
mode at that
yeah,
point.
they might be just sitting everybody at that point. Like, they have the leading passer, the leading receiver, and the leading pass rusher, the leading guy with sacks in the NFL right now, and they've won 4 games. That's crazy. 99
Yeah.
points in their last 3 games, lost all 3 of them. It's just like, I don't know, dude. Like, 12 wins, 11 wins.
It's
I don't
possible.
know. I don't know. You
It-
just never know. I think it's gonna be double digits, but
Yeah.
10 feels safe. But I do think we could stretch it to 11 or 12. We could win out, like,
Which is wild. Which
would
is
be crazy.
Yeah.
And although
I mean,
Dolphins fans, would be so sad about that, because I think
yeah.
they're the ones that think that they're gonna win out, but in reality, it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, 12-5. Holy hell. That'd be like, we won what? Essentially, because we started 0-2. So that'd be a hell of a way to finish the season, man. You win 12 out of 15,
Yeah,
and like 8, 9 in a row or something like that, or it'd be 7 in a
yeah,
row, I think. Crazy.
yeah. No, it's crazy. I mean, we've won. What have we won? 3 straight? Yeah, Falcons,
Yeah, 3
Raiders,
straight right
Browns.
now. Yep. So it'd be 7.
It's crazy, and the bye came at the perfect time. Like, I feel like the defense is getting tired; they're a little bit banged up. Um, this is around the time when the rookies hit that rookie wall. This is the end of the college football season. So Bo Nix has only ever played this much football in a single season before, and he still
Mhm.
got 4 games left. So I think the bye came at a really good time for the
I
way that
agree.
this team's going to be able to recover going into the last 4.
Yeah.
of the season. So
No, I agree, man. And then I mean, as we make that playoff push, is there any concerns you have about the team, maybe positional group wise, or anything that you're like kind of a little uneasy about? And Levi
I'm
Wallace.
yeah, I'm uneasy about Riley Moss's health. That side. And I will say it did change when they brought in Chris Abrams-Drain, which I was expecting. I don't know why he wasn't the guy to come in after
Well, you know
before
what's
Levi
crazy about you know
Wallace.
what's funny about that? It's because Levi Wallace was so damn tired he couldn't even go out on the field, so he wasn't even benched, which didn't make me feel better.
He did a lot of
But that's
chasing.
why
He was
he did.
chasing
He
Jerry
was running
Judy
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, he was running
um,
a lot.
and so I think like if Riley Moss isn't ready to go, I think Chris Abrams-Drain can hold down the fort. If we get him some safety help over the top, whether it's Brandon Jones or PJ Locke, like whoever it is on that side to kind of help him out over the top, I think he could hold it down. And I mean, it's not like they're playing a like, let's be honest, Jerry Judy is probably one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. We've seen
Oh,
his
no doubt.
speed. We've
Yeah.
seen his speed. You know, he just constantly behind the defense on Monday. I don't think that we're going to see another receiver that's that fast until we see Xavier Worthy in week 18. And even then, like, I don't know if he'll still be healthy because he's so like he's so small. I just don't know what to
Yeah.
expect from them. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. That's really my biggest concern is Riley Moss and kind of that second cornerback, the other side opposite of PS2, because I mean, dude just won AFC Defensive Player of the Month and gave up like 30 yards or something like that for an entire
Yeah.
month. Like that's crazy. So
It
like,
is
but there's no
crazy.
need to worry about one half of the field, right? You just kind of we need some help on the other side.
Yeah, and I think a big piece that went into the puzzle on Monday night was just the lack of pass rush too. I mean, it was
Yeah,
really bad especially the first 3 quarters.
yeah.
You know, you
They picked
you
it up
let
big
Jerry
time in the
Judy run
fourth.
around. Was
Yeah,
that?
they picked it up in the fourth. But yeah, you're
They did.
exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, even you let Jerry Judy run around and he has that much time. Really, the corner. I mean, he's gonna get his. He's gonna get open. So I think as
Yeah.
long as that pass rush just continues to be dominant, we'll be okay on the backside. What do you think about Damari Mathis? I mean, he was kind of shut out. I was a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I think that they were hoping to just run more zone against this team, because they know that Jameis Winston will give you the football if you just look him right in the eyes and
Mhm.
just let him throw it. Like Nick Benito's perfect example.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think maybe that was their idea was Levi Wallace is better in zone, and that didn't work. Obviously, we saw he just kept letting him in behind him. Like he had like a 15 to 20 yard cushion on Jerry Judy on that long touchdown pass, and didn't take a single step as Judy
No.
was running at him full speed. I'm like, hello, start
Yeah, it was weird,
backpedaling,
man. It was one
start
of the worst
making.
performances I've ever seen
Yeah,
on
it
corner.
was just wild to me, and so I don't really know like what the answer there is, and it is, yeah, you're right, it is kind of crazy that Chris Abrams-Drain was the first guy to come in relief and not Damari
Yeah,
Mathis.
yeah.
Um,
That was. I thought maybe he was hurt. I don't know, but
yeah,
how do you feel about the run game though overall? Like, does the run game concern you at all?
I think the rotation concerns me more than the run game itself. I was a part of a 3 running back rotation in college, and none of us could get going.
Yeah,
Like when you want to go off the hot hand, like, and you have 3 guys that you're rotating in and out, you know, none of them are going to get going. Everybody knows running backs are like racehorses. You got to get them warmed up and then they can go.
yeah.
And so I don't know. I think it might be, and it almost feels too like Javonte Williams has the yips. I don't,
It is.
and I played running back for like 13 years. So I don't really
Well,
know what that looks like for a running back to have the yips. It's like missing cuts, missing holes that like you would maybe see that most people wouldn't see, and they're kind of small, but you still know that that's kind of a spot that you can go through, like anticipating the linebacker to go overrun the gap and kind of the lineman push the defender out of the way. But it feels like he has the yips, and so it like I think it's time to just go to a 1-2 punch between Jaleel and Audric. And I mean, how different of a two running backs are Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime, right?
yeah,
Like you've got a freaking bruiser, 230-pound bruiser, and then you've got Jaleel McLaughlin is like maybe our fastest player on the team, one of the fastest guys on the team. Like,
Yeah.
it's just I think it might be time to give Javonte a break. Let him kind of go down to the minors, so to speak, for for a week or two. Let him kind of recoup, and maybe the bye week will do that for him.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about the run game as much as I am the rotation, and I think too a part of it is I think teams are slowly starting to respect Bo as a pocket passer more, and it's starting to soften the box a little bit. So I
Totally.
think that we're going to see kind of an increase in the production from the run game, kind of like we did on Monday night. I think they ran for like 80 something yards, and Bo Nix only had 4 of those. Usually, if we run for close to 100, Bo is usually like 25, 35 of those yards.
Yeah. I think
But
if
he
I
was really
remember,
just
we
4.
we we might have broken like 102. But you know what I was surprised with? I
Yeah.
did a little exercise earlier because I was thinking, all right, like what does the run game look like with just the running backs? And if you count Bidet and the 3 that we have now, McLaughlin and Estime and Javante, we're actually averaging 4.2 yards per carry, and we're over 1,000 yards, which I was pretty surprised by.
If we could put that into one player, we would
Like
have
you would love
Derrick
that,
Henry or
right? And
Saquon Barkley. Like
yeah, and I think
that would be wonderful.
I think a part of it is like it doesn't feel that good because there's not one guy like that's dominating. But I mean, it kind of was eye opening to me. I was like, maybe our run game is not as bad as we think it is. It just doesn't necessarily look all that nice, you know.
Yeah. No, for
So
sure. For sure. Yeah, and that is an interesting way to look at it too. But at the same time, like the last 2 weeks, Javonte Williams has had 12 carries for -1
I
yards.
know, yeah.
Like that's
And that's what
crazy.
it concerns me, man, because you talk about playoff as you get into December, in playoff football, you got to rely a lot on the run game,
Yeah.
and it's like when you just don't have a go-to, it could be something that could be a little bit
Yeah.
concerning. But
I think we can figure out who the go-to is over the next 4 games.
yeah, I hope
Just
so.
kind of kind of make the separation, like make the call. Like I don't know why Jaleel came out of the game at all last week.
I mean,
Like,
he was even pass blocking pretty decently. So
yeah, and that is the weakest part of his game. He's a smaller guy, but at the same time, like don't pass block with him. Send him out in a
yeah,
route.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
get 6 guys out on the route and not worry about blocking him. But no, Bo has to know who's hot there because they're going to bring pressure. They're going to bring more than you can block. But if you've got 6 guys out there, you can get the ball to the playmakers, in the open field, see what happens with it.
No doubt.
But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see them just go down to a 2-man rotation and just have it be McLaughlin and Audric Estime. Just kind of make sure that you know what you have going into the postseason.
And the offseason.
And
Too,
the
right?
offseason, right? Because
Yeah.
this is the year. I mean, Javante's contract is, we've got to start making some decisions. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna let him not take that 5th-year option? Are we are we gonna let him walk? What are we gonna do there? Are we gonna go get another running back in the draft this year? Ashton Genty would be sweet, but I don't think he
Yeah.
makes it to the mid-20s where we're gonna be
I know.
picking. So
We're too good now for him, but
yeah, I
I'm good
know,
with
right?
that. I don't care. Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler Warren, Emeka Buka, that's more, I think, maybe a possibility. But
I'm on
yeah,
I'm on the Tyler and I know it's early, but I'm on the Tyler Warren or no one train right now. I just feel like
yeah,
that guy screams Sean Payne.
dude, right? A
Like
bigger Taysom Hill.
yeah, exactly. He can throw the ball, like he can spin it.
Yeah,
And
he's
yeah, he's just
crazy.
he's a good player, man. I like him. Looks like Bronco fan here says, how do you feel about PJ Locke?
Dude, PJ is so good, dude. We have, I don't think people actually realize how good our DBs are.
Yeah.
Like across the board. Like that interception that Jaquan
Jaquan.
McMillan had to close out the game. That was crazy. And he had one just like it earlier this season against the Panthers, where he was like facing, I don't remember who the receiver was. He's facing him and turns around midair, puts his hands up and catches the ball.
Against the Panthers, I believe. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
so
like
sick.
that
He's
was
so good, dude.
incredible. And he did it
Yeah.
again Monday night. And that's someone that no one knows who, like his name was spelt wrong
I know.
in his, for like, it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like him and then signing Brandon Jones.
Yeah.
Was a huge deal. And PJ Locke, he stepped up big time last year when Kareem Jackson missed all those games because of the dumb penalties that he kept taking. And so PJ, it feels like PJ's kind of the veteran back there, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a
But
little bit strange.
he feels like it. He feels like he understands what Vance Joseph's trying to do. He works well with the other guys back there. He's great when he's coming on the blitz. He's great when he has to be in coverage. Yeah, PJ's a dog. He really
Yeah,
is.
I agree, man. I love PJ, and I don't think a lot of Bronco fans realize, and maybe it's just because Justin Simmons was so beloved for a long time, and I love Justin Simmons too to this day.
Yeah.
But Brandon Jones is playing better than Justin Simmons, in my opinion, probably ever has. I mean, he has been incredibly good.
Yeah.
I think, and then
I think especially in the run game.
yeah,
That's kind
he's
of
just
one
been
thing
solid.
I've been recognizing. Like he's got a nose for the football. Like
Mhm.
wherever it's at, like Brandon Jones is gonna be there.
Yeah,
And yeah,
no, he's been
that's
good,
pretty
and
bold
then
to say
PJ,
that
I
about
love.
Justin Simmons.
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean?
He means so much to Broncos country. But I
Oh,
definitely believe I agree with what you're saying. Like
oh yeah, yeah.
people were nervous about letting Justin Simmons walk and bringing in someone new to
Mhm,
play that free safety role. But I'm like, dude, this guy had a lot of interceptions with the Dolphins. Like he
mhm.
played some solid safety. So yeah, it's funny because like I thought that Justin Simmons was going to find some postseason success because I thought the Falcons were putting together kind of a monster of a football team together,
Yeah,
and that's not happening at
I
all.
know. I really want him to make it, man. I really feel bad for the
Yeah,
guy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like the Buccaneers are probably gonna come out of the South over there, but yeah, it's a sloppy division. It feels like the NFC West too. Like no one wants to win it. It feels like I don't know.
Yeah, I wish we played in the NFC South. We would demolish. I mean, we went 4-0 against them, and we would
Yeah,
just we win that thing every single year. That would be
yeah,
nice.
free wins.
But I agree, man. I think PJ Locke's a stud. I think a lot of his bad plays get like highlighted a lot.
Yeah,
But they totally like he bounces out. He makes so many more good plays than I think bad. So I'm right there with you, man, for sure. I'm a big PJ Lock fan. Do you have like any kind of speaking of all the different roster people on this roster, who would you say like the MVP for this team is? Or I guess you could choose MVPs because it's probably hard
yeah,
to just choose one.
that is tough, man. I have. This is one of the first times that I've watched Broncos games and have genuinely loved every guy that's on the team. Right? Like
Except for Levi Wallace.
Garrett Bowles had kind of a classic Garrett Bowles game on Monday, but the offense was still able to kind of overcome
Mhm.
those holding penalties, those mistakes he was making. Um, yeah, like across the offensive line, I love every guy that we've got there. I mean, they are the best offensive line in the NFL, which is I knew that they were that, but all of the sacks that Russ took last year, it was just like, are we sure?
Mhm.
Um, and then just like the youth that we have at receiver, Cortland Sutton has just kind of I don't know.
You
I
embraced
feel
it.
like he's been a great leader in the receiver room. Kind of a great players coach almost like in the receiver room.
Mhm.
And the way that he's worked with Bo Nix, kind of helped him along his journey to becoming a pro. Man, I don't know. Like I would say on the offense, I'm gonna have to give it to Bo Nix
Yeah.
because it's just like this team. It's the exact same offense with a different quarterback and fewer weapons at wide receiver. If
Totally.
we're being honest,
Yeah.
and we've won the same amount of games we won last year already. So offensively, I would have to give it to Bo Nix, and then on the defense, man, that it's almost impossible to choose someone on the defense that you could maybe give like the MVP to. Um, my heart wants to say Pat Surtain, um, but my brain tells me that Nick Bonito is having a TJ Watt level year, and I think it's time that we start recognizing it for who he is. I remember when we drafted him, I just watched the highlights of him coming off the edge. I'm like, this guy looks like Von Miller
Yeah.
with his first step. Like
Yeah.
this is great. Like he's a smaller Von Miller. That's crazy. And I mean, he's put on some size over the last couple of years, and has really developed more than just the speed rush move. I mean, that spin move that he had, um, was that last week
It was last week. Yeah,
to
I think
get Gardner Minshew on that pass that caused the interception?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
It
like
was
that was
filthy.
Jonathan Cooper, wasn't it? Who was that? I think it was Nick Benito.
I think Nick Benito. I know he had a spin move this past week, and he almost got to Jameis, but he got him pretty
No,
good.
that's the play I'm thinking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was right there. Um, but yeah, dude, like he's put more pass rush moves in his arsenal. Yeah, I think Nick is the guy for this defense. I mean, in that 71-yard pick six, like he covered three different people on that play. Like
yeah.
he touched three different
I couldn't believe that.
Browns receivers on that play, caught the football, ran 70 yards to the end zone. Like that's incredible. That's crazy stuff to me. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could go Zach Allen. If you wanted to, you could go Jaquan McMillan. If you wanted to, you could go Riley Moss because they're trying to get their best receiver away from Pat Surtain.
Hmm.
And Riley Moss has been like, okay, I'm a dog too. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So dude, like just all over the place on the defense. Hey, Jahmyr Gibbs scored. Nice. I got him on my fantasy teams.
Hell yeah, nice. I just got the little thing too.
There,
Awesome.
yeah, perfect.
I like that.
But yeah, I think just if you can give one to Bo Nix and then the entire defense, which feels like a cop out, but I'm gonna do it anyways, right?
Yeah.
That's just
No,
kind of
no,
where I would go.
because
Yeah,
it's so hard. It's so hard to like answer that question because before this season, if somebody was like, all right, they asked me, who are the stalwarts or who are like
yeah,
the best foundation of this team, you're literally I was gonna say PS2 and Quinn Miners. That's
yeah,
basically all you could really say.
yeah,
Now you could name like 10, 12 guys, 13 guys,
yeah,
and like that's crazy. So
yeah,
there's been so many things about the season that I almost kind of at times felt like it's just not real. Like just like the Cleveland game, I think there was a lot of things that just felt like I can't believe what I'm actually
yeah,
watching. And I still think I know for myself I'm still absorbing a lot of it, but yeah, it's hard to point it to one particular player. But
which makes sense.
I would agree. Nick Benito would probably be my front runner just because it was
Yeah,
such a leap.
yeah, a massive jump. Like he had a hot start to the season last year, and then kind of fell off in the second half of the year. But this year, like every game, Nick
Mhm.
Benito is causing a pressure. Nick Benito is getting a tackle for loss. He's
Yep.
getting a sack. Like it's impressive, and it's something that we haven't seen. Like Jonathan Cooper is 2 sacks away from 10, and it'll be the first time we've had 2 10-sack edge rushers since Von Miller and Bradley Chubb in 2018,
Wow.
6 years ago. Like
Yep.
it's incredible, and I think Nick Benito is looking at a 15-sack season. He's going to be very expensive in a year or two. And
I
yeah,
wish we could sign him after this year, man.
honestly, just get the extension. Just get the extension taken care of now.
I don't
But
think we can. NFL rules. I don't know. I heard that
what round was he drafted?
he was I think he was the last pick in the second round.
Oh, was it this? Okay, because I know that the round that you're picked determines whether you get a 5th-year option or not. I don't really know how the draft works. Like that's my least favorite part of football is the NFL draft.
Oh, really?
So
Oh my
it's
God.
I
I
hate
love the
it.
draft.
I
I love
hate it.
it.
I love watching the draft and like watching the guys that are like realizing their dreams coming true. And like you see a 300-pounder just in tears in his mom's arms. Like
Yeah,
that
it's
part is
cool.
great. But like understanding like, oh, this is a compensatory pick from blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't know. That's nerd stuff. I don't get that.
Yeah,
I know
compensatory
ball.
pick.
I know ball. I don't
Compensatory
know like
picks.
draft pick stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think you might be right. So yeah,
yeah.
hopefully he kind of
You
keeps
get a
it under
you
15
get
sacks next year, and then the extension will be, yeah,
yeah. The whole logistics of the draft I know is tough. I know you get 5th-year options for only your first round guys, but I think there's something in a rookie contract
oh, is
where
it
you
just
can't
first round?
start.
Okay,
Yeah, and you can't start negotiating. And this is for rookies, I think, in any round, a new contract until I think they've had 3 full seasons.
okay.
Um, and or
What?
yeah, so he's
This will
had
be
three,
his
right?
third year. Yeah, this is
This
his
will be
third
his
year.
third full year. So we might be able to
Extend him.
with
Do it
him.
now.
Yeah,
Extend
yeah.
him. Extend Zach Allen. Extend
I
Garrett
would.
Bowles. Go get a wider. Go get T Higgins. Go get somebody, and then let's go get Tyler Warren in the draft, and we're going Super Bowl in 2026. Like there we go. There's the
Yeah.
answer. No, but like to
Yeah.
your point, actually my camera's about to die. I need to change my battery real quick. You're gonna
No,
see
you're
some
good.
weird language on the screen here.
Oh, you're good.
To your point, kind of about like not being able to point to like um different players that are on the team.
Mhm.
It makes sense when you have a roster that's only got 3 first-round draft picks on it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. That's something that I don't think people really realize.
The
Is
whole
that
roster.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like we have Garrett Bowles, we have Bo Nix, and we have Pat Surtain. Those are our first-round draft picks.
And
That's
one
it.
of them was of this year.
Literally,
Crazy
one of them
part.
is a rookie currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just like the talent level compared to other teams because of the Russell Wilson trade and all the players that we traded away for that, all the picks that we traded away for that. Like we're finally overcoming it. So it does make sense when it's like at the beginning of the year, people didn't really know who we were. And John Gruden decided to call him the defense like the Anonymous Crush, which I think is an awesome name
It is a great name.
for a defense.
He's been awesome
That's
on YouTube. Honestly, I
yeah,
love. I love.
he's kind of crazy, but it's like a good
Yeah.
crazy. It feels like.
Yeah. You gotta love it. Yeah, man, it's wild. It's wild stuff. And so moving into the off season, do you feel like you want to see this Broncos team be like have one of those off seasons where we're just spending and getting superstars, or does that kind of worry you a little bit?
I think we can, but I think we need to be frivolous. Not frivolous.
Frugal.
Frugal. That's the other word. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Frugal.
Yeah.
Um, there are guys out there that I think could help lift the floor of the team. But if you want to take a big swing on a guy and go get T. Higgins or whoever, whatever wide receiver, a guy that could be rivaling, like I don't think we need to let Cortland Sutton go. I think Cortland Sutton has proved this year with having 6 straight games over 70 yards receiving. I think he's proved that he's a wide receiver 1 in this league. And so if you want to go get a guy that's going to push him and could maybe become the wide receiver 1, I think you can. But at the same time, I think you could just go get really solid role players
Mhm.
and just kind of fill out the spots that you maybe had some underproduction in. But I don't know where those are. Honest on this team, like a tight end, that's our biggest gap.
Yeah.
Like if
I
we
think
want to
I think running back. I think running back too for sure. But yeah,
running
tight
back
end
and
as
tight
well.
end for sure. If you want to take a swing and you want to go get a tight end in free agency, if you want to go get a running back in free agency, like by all means do that. But I almost feel like they could just run it back with the same guys that we have and just a few new guys. Because like we're gonna have another rookie class, right? We've got first round pick, we've got second round pick, we've got all our picks back finally. So we're gonna start getting talent back in the building just from draft capital.
Yeah.
So they don't really have to do anything in free agency, but I think the Broncos fans want that to happen. And I'm sure Sean Payton's got some guys in mind.
Yeah.
I think him and Jerry Jeudy had a really interesting conversation after the game on Monday night. I don't know how people would feel about bringing Jerry back to Denver. That would be crazy.
Do you know what it was about? Did you have like any?
I don't have
Did you see
any
anything
insight.
about like what it was about? No.
They were all smiles, and Jerry said, "I'll be back." I don't know what that means. Take with that what you want.
Oh, he did say that.
He did, and they were all smiles, and they didn't look like they were mad at each other. So I don't, and I'm probably just reading too much in it, because it would be like, if Jerry Jeudy was on this football team, could you imagine what this offense would look like? That kind of those thoughts are in my head, but
yeah, I go back and forth with that too because I feel like what I've seen from Judy is he's only really dominant when he is the only option. He's kind of like a running back that plays receiver. Like he needs to get the ball a lot and he needs to be involved a lot from the shine, or I feel like he just tunes out quickly. But that's another conversation. But hey, man, I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to give it another year, but I don't know.
But you never know. Like I think JJ Watt was talking about on the Pat McAfee show last week, maybe. He himself brought up the new facility that's being built in Denver. And you couple that with having a head coach like Sean Payton and having the quarterback position figured out and having a defense that's putting up the kind of defensive numbers we are this year. Like Denver has quickly become a spot for free agents to want to go to again.
Yeah.
Like we were for so long. And
Yeah,
then
it's
that
kind
just
of how the
stopped
Texans
happening.
flipped it, right? The Texans were like the joke of the
Exactly.
league. No one wanted to play there, and then boom. And ours is, I
Yeah.
think, to another level, just because of the ownership group. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Having that ownership and the new facilities. And so I don't know. And honestly, like, I think that Sean Payton and George Payton have earned all the trust in the world. So whatever they want to do in free agency, I'm all in. Like, whatever. Do what you want
yeah,
to do. Keep winning football games. Keep making my life fun.
yeah.
I just got this hat in the mail today because I wanted to
I
buy a
like.
new Broncos hat.
I was
And
gonna say, I like the hat a
like
lot, man. It's nice.
it's that sideline hat that they've got this year. I think every single sideline hat for every team looks good.
Yeah,
There isn't a
I
bad
think they're
one this year.
finally figuring it out because they've had some
Yeah.
terrible ones.
But yeah, so whatever they want to do in free agency in the offseason, like, I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
good. I've got, as long as I've got Bo Nix, I've got everything I've ever wanted. I'm gonna be
I know,
honest.
man. Me too. He's like, it's like, what do you want for Christmas? I already got my gift. We're good.
Bo
Don't
Nix
even worry about
jersey.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you've already got two of those. Give me a third one. Give me the
give me a
throwback.
third. Other,
Give
just
me the
whatever
navy
color.
one.
Give me the
Yeah.
navy. That's awesome. Well, speaking of Bo, what does David Youngkin here say? Which defenses Bo play better in zone or against man?
That's a tough question. I think people are really starting to see his arm strength, and his ability to be able to push the ball downfield. But if I had to be honest, I would say it's probably zone defense just because of his pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah.
Like, it was 5 inches of separation on that touchdown pass to Marvin Mims. Like, if that ball had even a little bit more arc on it, or it was just like a half a mile an hour slower, that was an incomplete pass, maybe an interception.
Yeah.
But because of the way that Bo Nix had the perfect pace, got it up and down, it was a touchdown pass.
Mhm.
And I just think the same thing. He threw a dart to Lucas Kroll late in the fourth quarter on that drive to kick the field goal to go up by 2 points.
Yep.
Like, it's plays like that. Like, the receivers they find. I mean, when you're in zone, I don't know. You guys probably know this if you've watched football ever at all. When you're running a route against zone coverage and you realize it's zone coverage, you don't want to continue running your route into the other zone. You want to sit down. You want to find that soft spot. And that's why Travis Kelce is like the perfect example of this, right? Like, he
Mhm.
always finds the soft spot in the defense. And so I think Bo has done a really good job of finding where his receivers are in those soft spots and putting it where only they can catch it. I mean, even that first interception he threw on Monday night was a fluky. The ball got popped up into the air. Like, he was trying to put that in a place that only his receiver could catch it, but it just like bounced in straight into the air. And I
Yep.
mean, that's somebody could have jumped out of the stands and went and caught that. That ball bounced so freaking high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, I would say it's probably zone, but when you've got a guy like Cortland Sutton and he's in 1-on-1, throw it up to him.
Hold up.
Like,
I
just
agree.
put it somewhere. He's gonna catch it. He's
Yeah.
gonna come down with it.
And I think it's a really good thing. I would agree. I think he's been better in zone. I think the data would show that too. And it's a really good thing because most defenses are playing zone now.
Yeah.
And that was a big concern going into the Browns game because they play so much man. A lot of people were like, he hasn't really been that good against man. He's obviously proven he can do well there. I think some of the like not doing so well in man also has to do with we don't necessarily have wide receivers and tight ends that are creating consistent separation all the time versus man. But yeah, I would have to say probably zone as well. And another follow-up
Yeah.
question here before we wrap it up will be do we have the best two quarterbacks, like the best cornerback tandem in the league?
I think we have the best cornerback trio in the league. I think Jaquan has really put himself on the map when it comes to that third DB that you need out there. That third corner. He's kind of a slot corner guy. He's going to cover so much ground and he's going to make a play. Um, but like, Riley Moss has been so freaking good.
So good.
Like, shockingly good. I knew Riley Moss was good. Like, you don't make it into the league with his level of melanin without being
As a corner, at least. I thought he was gonna
incredible
be a safety, man. I'm not
as a
gonna lie.
right. Yeah, I think people thought the same thing about
Yeah.
the kid in Philadelphia too. And they both came from Iowa, right?
Yeah,
Like, they were
that's
playing Cooper DeJean, that's his name. They played together. And being an Ohio State fan, like, I watched Riley Moss play against NFL wide receivers when Ohio State was playing Iowa, right? Like, he
mhm.
was having to cover guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson and Noah Brown. Like he was having to cover these guys.
Crazy.
And so obviously he could do it. But I didn't think that we were going to see him do it at this level this quickly. It's been amazing. And Riley, if you're watching this, I'm sending all my vibes to your knee, bro. I hope it gets better.
I would offer you my knee, but it wouldn't really. I don't think it would.
Mine
do
are
you
done.
very good.
Mine are
I don't
shot,
think it would
dude.
do you very well, man.
Like I had cornerbacks diving at them for 4 years in college. Like they're done.
Where did you play? Where did you play? College ball at?
It was a D2 school in Kansas City, named William Jewell, and so it was like
man.
I played. I actually played against. Oh my gosh, Eric Salbert.
No shit.
I played against him when he was at Drake. And
he played. Did he go to CSU? I think he did. Or he was at the Broncos. Did he end up going to CSU after? Maybe.
No, I think he got drafted straight from Drake from that D2 school and went and played in Denver for a while.
Yeah.
And then I hit him on a punt, and I knew he was going pro. Like there's just like when you play D2 ball, like there's maybe one or two guys that are going to play in the NFL that you play against an entire season.
Yeah.
And he was one of them, and that was one of the most painful tackles I've ever tried making on punt coverage.
Oh man.
Gonna be honest with you.
That's wild. Yeah. The only hope I would have had, is if I was a kicker and if I dedicated my life to kicking. Because no chance in hell I'm doing anything else. Kicking and punting, I could have been a punter.
Yeah.
With my soccer background, I guess I could have done either one.
Yeah.
But
no, yeah. I started playing
awesome.
when I was in second grade, and it was always my dream to play in college. And so like everything that I did from the time I was able to like read a chapter book, I was like, I want to play football.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. That's something that I wish I was gifted and talented enough to be able to do it, but I don't think a 5'9", 160-pound frame is going to do much. And that's
I'm
my
5'6".
maximum.
I'm 5'6", so I was like a little dude out there. But I mean, I played at 206, so I packed.
Yeah, so that's a beastly size.
There was a lot behind me.
that's a beastly size. Zach, what's up, my man? I appreciate you guys all interacting in the chat and Strez. I can go all night, man. I can't believe it's been almost an hour. It's so crazy how time flies. It's like
it is. It always.
Dude, I could talk about this shit for a long time, but my wife is going to be very grateful because now I don't have to talk her ear off since I got everything off my chest to you, man. But thank you so much for joining. Never met each other before, and for you to just be like, yeah, man, I'll hop on is awesome, dude. So very much appreciated. Yeah. Let everybody know where they can follow you on all the socials. I know you're killing it with all the things that you're doing. So go make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Broncos at the Broncos Hub. I usually
should be in the description below.
I usually have at least 2 videos out every week. The holidays has thrown a huge wrench in everything, and then having a Monday night game, like I am so off schedule. I haven't posted a video in like 2 weeks. But I'm gonna get back on schedule over this weekend and into next week. So, and then if you don't do that, and you want to follow me over on TikTok, it's at it's.strez. And I talk a lot about the NFL and Broncos football over on TikTok. So it's not just that. I talk about other stuff too, but it's a lot of
it's dot Strez.
Yeah, I have it in my name here on the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it up there too.
Yeah. So yeah, go follow me over there. Anytime you see like me doing like a TikTok shop video where I'm trying to sell some ramen to you, just scroll and go find the video where I'm talking about the Broncos. That's why you're there. Those are ones that are for you.
I'll buy some ramen.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm also on Twitter at its_Strez, and on Blue Sky at I don't even know how the Blue Sky username things work, but
how you liking Blue Sky?
It's peaceful.
It's peaceful. That's good.
I don't know how to describe. Like there are no trolls. I have not ran into a single troll.
Well, they haven't made it there yet. They'll get there.
That's true, and they may never show up. But if they do, like my finger's over the block button. Like I'm not. That's my safe space. Like don't bother me there. I'm at the beach with a freaking rum punch in my hand when I log into the Blue Sky app. So do not try to come for my piece, I will block you.
Don't come at him on Blue Sky. I might check it out though. I heard some
No,
pretty
yeah,
pretty
it's
decent
pretty
things about
great.
it. So.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. I'm chronically online, so just shoot me a message if you're not a weirdo in my DMs. I'll probably respond to you. So yeah, hit me up. Let's talk ball. I'm always down to talk ball.
Let's do it. I love it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks guys for tuning in. Go Broncos. Enjoy the bye. We all deserve it. And make sure that you spend time with those you love the most, especially in this holiday season. And until next time, everybody. Peace out.